Well, this gets into national security, the national security argument for taking care of our current problems. You see, in 1970, debt held by the public amounted to $280 billion. Only 5% of that was held by foreign nationals. By 1990, 20 years later, we're up to $2.4 trillion. I could state that differently. We went from $283 billion to $2,400 billion over the course of 20 years. Foreign holdings almost 20%. Not a real positive trend. By 2010, we're up to $8,400 billion. Remember what we've been quibbling over here in recent days in Washington? We're going to cut $60 billion. I think it should, $35 billion. $8,400 billion in 2010. Debt held by the public. Foreign holdings, almost half of our debt and growing. It's a sovereignty issue. It's not just a sovereignty issue. Let's disaggregate the data and look at who holds our debt. Who specifically? Well, China, a rising power, not an enemy, but they could be. Let's be candid in the future. They're building a blue water navy. They don't seem to share many of the same Western respect for human rights that we share. And their economy is growing at an enormous rate. We need to keep our eyeball on China. 30% of our foreign held debt is held by China. Japan's at 20. I suspect that slice will get a bit smaller. But China's going to continue to grow, at least the way things are currently headed, unless they decide to dump our dollars. It's a possibility. That would create a whole other set of problems for our economy. We can talk about that later if anyone is interested. All right, so these trillion-dollar figures, these pie charts, what does this really mean? Break this down. Well, here's one way to sort of humanize the data, make it into something concrete. With just the interest that we pay to China on our debt, China can afford to buy 3 new Joint Strike Fighters every week. Now, the Joint Strike Fighter is the most sophisticated, powerful aircraft in the world. These are very expensive things, and you know what? The Chinese can invest in the required research and development and procurement as long as they have the wherewithal, the money to do so. Oh, $50 million per week left over.